to drive the 13 Mitigator Ford Fusion. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.tv.
Driver of the number 5 Kiker Motorsports Camry. Welcome to Let's Talk Racing TV.
With Rockingham Speedway. Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Timothy Peters, driver of the number 17 Toyota in the Nascar Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Damn. You lost it?
No, no point.
Oh, welcome to Let's Talk Racing.
Oh, fun.
We're already in the state of limbo already. Couldn't be better.
We can still blame it on Brian. He's not here.
Yeah.
Let's try this again, Peyton. Hang on a second.
All right.
Welcome to Let's Talk Racing, Peyton Sellers. How you doing?
Everything's going well. How about you guys?
I'm doing pretty good. This is Jack Dodson. Got Scott Allen and Roger Brehm here tonight, and we'll see how things are going with you.
Yes, sir. We're doing okay. We're just coming off a few good weeks here in South Boston, and getting ready to go do a little road racing this weekend at VIR.
Oh, what kind of racing you gonna do up there? I mean,
we have got a chump truck that we race in the Chump Car World Series that we race out of our shop, and a couple friends of ours and my dad, they all get together and work on it and race it. We have a good time with it.
well, Peyton, I got a guy here in the shop, on here beside me on the show, that the chump truck would be a good for the chump to set beside me. You ain't got nothing to say, I know.
Yeah, we have a really good time with this thing. It's not a lot of pressure involved. We get out there and just go race it. Most of the time we get enough penalties because we're speeding down pit road or something stupid where we don't end up, and we have a good time.
So what is it? I mean, is it kind of like a late model, or is it a stock car of some sort?
Well, when I said a chump truck, I meant a chump truck. It's a 72 model C10 Chevrolet pickup.
Well, that thing handles great, then I bet.
It does. It does. We've got it lowered down. We've done quite a bit to it, trying to make it better, and it's helped me quite a bit.
That's like my favorite body style.
So you started out good at South Boston. What are your plans for this year?
Well, we've got a lot of stuff in store right now with our team as a whole. Me and my brother HC, we run a race shop over here in Danville, and I race and we provide cars for other drivers, and we do we kind of run a maintenance service for other teams, and we've got a lot going on right now. We've got Matt Bolin racing out of our shop this year. Deb Burton raced for us last weekend, and we got some young guys with Mike Maresca, and Justin Johnson's coming back out. He hadn't raced in a couple of years. He's going back to South Boston for the next race. Man, we got a lot happening right now. Me personally, I'm just going to kind of wing it. I want to have a lot of fun this year, whatever it takes. We started off with a couple wins in South Boston last weekend. We finished second this past weekend in South Boston, and it's been a good start so far. So we're going to travel around a little bit, go to Motor Mile some, and definitely come over and hang out with you guys a time or two this year too.
Are you thinking about doing any trucks or anything this year? Have you got any offers to do any trucks or anything like that?
Well, quite honestly, I would love to do some truck stuff, but there's just not a lot of opportunity right now. Unless you can bring a sponsor to the table to go with the big team, it's just so hard to do. And I'd love to be doing something, on radio tires, because that's what I got to do right now. As a driver that wants to move forward, I need to be on radios week in and week out. It's just hard to do that without having the proper funding it takes to go with a good team.
I remember you were doing some. You did a truck race with last year, or year before last at Martinsville, and I remember you doing some. Didn't you do a nationwide car down at Charlotte one time too?
Yeah, I've been pretty fortunate. I've been able to run I don't know 10 or 15 nationwide races and a few truck races along the way, and you know I've just never got that opportunity to jump into something that was just dialed in, you know, with a top tier team. And yeah, I'm not blaming that, or I'm not making excuses or anything, but to compete at that level, you got to compete with the best cars. And you know, for guys to come in and make a showing right off the get-go, you got to have good stuff. And that's what it boils down to. No different than late model racing. You got to go with a good car. You got to go with a good motor package, and it's all got to click just right to get out there and compete for the win.
Now, this past weekend out at South Boston, I've been seeing a lot of stuff about a lot of controversy out there this past weekend.
Well,
now I understand there was an issue between, or an issue with Austin Thaxton's car.
yeah.
Give us an insight on that.
I had to start mid-pack due to winning the first two races. They put a new rule into place this year. If you win 2 in a row, you got to start mid-pack the next week. Well, they had 21 cars, so I ended up having to start 11th. And I was okay with that. I mean, it's just, you know, it is a rule. They put it into place to make the fans, you know, add a little bit to the fans and make a little more of a show of it.
The lead rule.
So, and I guess that's the Lee Pulliam rule because he kind of stuck it up a lot.
That's exactly what I was saying.
But anyway, worked our butt off. We got it back up to second, and we had about a 50-lap run during the second half of the race there. I got within 4 feet of Austin Thaxton coming to the checkered flag, and actually we caught a lap car, and I knew that I couldn't pass him or I wasn't going to make a dumb move and try to take him out or anything like that, because I know those guys work extremely hard week in and week out. Him and Alan Rice, those guys put a lot of time and effort into their program. You know, I wasn't going to jeopardize taking him out or anything like that, because I know how hard everybody works for it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we got to Tech, and he had slided rotors on his car. And I asked a Tech official, I said, hey, what is it? What's the deal with slided rotors? I said, you know, they're not legal. And the Tech official, Jeff Bomar, he said, well, I've already seen them, and I'm in the process of reading the rule book to see what it says. And so we sat around there for a couple hours, and they finally come told us and said, hey, you guys take off. We're going to make a decision. We'll get back with you on Monday. I said, okay. And, you know, typically when they have something that is a black and white in the rule book, they go ahead and throw you out on the spot for it. No matter what it is. You know, if it's a performance advantage, no matter what it is, they you know, we're not like the upper 3 levels where they assess point penalties or fines or anything like that. So it really struck me a little bit odd, and I talked to some of the track officials on Monday, and they kind of insinuated like it was a done deal, like I would get the win. And that's kind of what I expected to happen anyway. Now, I know there's a little bit of, you know, Alan Rice and Kathy Rice are obviously, you know, husband and wife. And Kathy told me up front, she said, hey, I'm not going to be in the decision-making process on this because I am involved with Alan, you know. So I understand that too, but then the ruling come down yesterday that they were going to leave everything like it was, no penalties. And it really kind of floored me because, you know, they deemed it as not being a big enough performance advantage. And I said, you know, we run 50 laps and we're within 4 feet of each other. Who's to deem how big of an advantage it is or how small it is? So, you know, it's just confusing to me.
Well, I didn't think it much mattered whether it was an advantage or not. It's either legal or it's not legal.
Well, and in this situation, it was actually black and white underlined in the rule book. And it wasn't a judgment call on the racetrack. It wasn't a split-second decision that had to be made. So there was no judgment to be put into this whatsoever. It was simply black and white. And I really thought it was as cut and dry as anything had ever been. If you go to California Speedway this past weekend, if you go to VIR this past weekend, every car at both tracks will have slotted rotors. Mm-hmm. Why? Because it's an advantage. It cools the brakes. It cleans the brake pads. It keeps them from getting glazed over. And you know, I'm not telling you that it's a tenth a lap or 500ths a lap or something like that. But people, they cost more money, and that's why they won't let late model stock cars run them. So why would you pay the extra money to buy rotors that if there wasn't an advantage? That's my argument, you know. And at the end of the day, I still finished second. I'm pleased to run second. I had a good car. It's not deterring me any at all, but it does make me question, you know, their thought behind saying that it wasn't a big enough advantage because.
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense. Do y'all use a lot of brakes at South Boston?
You know, everywhere you go right now, you got to set these noses, and you know the brake temps in South Boston will come in at 400 or 500 degrees, so every little bit helps. And when we run 50 laps in a row, obviously by the end of 50 laps, you're laying with a brake pad pretty hard.
Right.
No doubt about it, because the tires are shot and all of that. I just think they've opened up a can of worms next week, next month, next year when somebody gets thrown out over an item that is questionable. You know, I don't know. I'm not comfortable with it, but on the same token, I got to go back there and race next week too. It's my home track. It's 30 miles down the road. I can't fuss too much because I can't make your face.
Well, that's true. You can't say a whole lot of, you know. You just gotta kind of bite your tongue and keep going.
Yeah, grin and bear it.
That's right. That's right. You know, and I'm happy for Austin. You know, I know it was a little bit of a technicality, but on the same token, it's black and white, and at the end of the year, I might not win another race this year, and it would be really neat to win 3 races in a year. Or I might be sitting here in September with 12 wins, and I'm looking back counting points, and I say, well, they took that 7 points from me that might have made the difference in winning the nation or not. You know, so I don't know what the future holds right now, and I do know that it's a 7-point turnaround for me because obviously you get the win, you get the 5 points there with the bonus points. Being that I started outside of the top 10, NASCAR implemented a new rule this year where if you start worse than 10, you get 2 bonus points to win. So
yeah, I mean, it certainly does, especially when you got Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart tying for the points. I mean,
that's right.
That every little bit helps.
It was my responsibility for my guys to work on my car and my sponsors to argue the fact and try to, you know, prove my point. And I really didn't think it was a point to prove, to be quite honest with you. I thought it would be so cut and dried that, you know, it'd be easy to tell. But anyway, we just got to go back and try to win more races, no doubt about it, and move forward. I'm happy those guys won their first race. I'm disappointed I lost my race because I felt like that we had a win coming. So, you know, there's no hard feelings in any way whatsoever. I am kind of disappointed more so than anything.
So I guess now you get yourself all geared up and go back next week and just take it to them again.
Well, absolutely, that's the game plan. We're you know, there's a lot of excitement around South Boston right now with this Denny Hamlin showdown, and I feel like that's going to put some butts in the stands, no doubt about it. So I'm just trying to go down there. They've been having good car count, so if we go down there and win a couple more races, I'm going to do the races up at Motor Mile this year because it's only 6 nights and you can compete for a championship with that. And like I said, I'm going to come over to Langley a few times, you know, and just put together some solid runs. And we've been getting a little better each week, and I want to continue to improve and grow and try to get better because this late model stuff is not easy.
Are they still doing that where if you win at Martinsville or you run good at Martinsville, Langley, and was it South Boston, they have like a crown?
Yeah, they had a triple crown last year, and I was actually CE1 it the first year, and I won it the second year. And it's a triple crown between South Boston, Langley, and Martinsville.
Yeah.
This year, I have not seen an announcement come out yet promoting it, so I'm assuming they're still doing it, but I haven't seen anything announced for it.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty neat deal because it's 3 big races.
Yeah.
You got the Hampton Heat. I don't know what the one at South Boston is because I don't go up there enough. And then obviously everybody wants to run good at Martinsville.
That's right. South Boston does their 4th of July race, which is a 200-lap race and pays some extra money. So it's usually a pretty big event too.
Now, UNHC have got a great operation there, and you said you were building, you know, you were doing stuff for other people. How many total cars will you have out running during the year?
Well, The last 2 weeks in South Boston, we've had 5 cars there. We've had 4 late models and 1 limited car. And as we get to rolling, and some of the guys, other tracks start off, we're going to have a car running over at Ace some, and then one guy traveling around a little bit with Trey Gerald. And we've got 8 cars running out of our shop right now, including mine. So with 7 cars running, and on any given weekend, they're all, some of them are taking off here and there, running limited schedules, whatever it is. But we're maintaining 8 race cars in our shop right now. And, man, we've just been very blessed to be able to do it. And we moved our shop. We consolidated. We were working out of 2 shops, and we consolidated over the winter and expanded our main shop. And the shop that we moved out of, Stacy Puryear, which runs a race parts business out of South Boston, he moved it to Danville. So that has been a lot happening this winter. It's been a lot of fun. We're already seeing reaping the rewards out of having a parts shop, 100 yards from our race shop. So that's been really nice to have him. And he's been kind of gaining some business for VIR as well, being that we're based here in Danville where the road race stuff is at.
So is your shop further down off where it was before, or are you still up by the road?
No, we moved to the lower shop, and Stacy is now closer to the road there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, he needed that road frontage, and that should attract some business his way. And man, you wouldn't believe what VIR does for our local economy here. Any given weekend, there's Porsches, Ferraris, Cobras. The NASA series was there this past weekend, and they've got Grand Dam and different things coming. And it does a lot for our local economy right now. We're, over here in Southside Virginia, we're really struggling replacing textile and tobacco. And so far, VIR has been a good fit for everybody around here.
Well, I guess it would be, because it gets a lot of people over there. Yep. Well, I'm gonna come by there one day and check out your shop. I've gone by that shop 1,000 times, and I said I've always wanted to see what you got over there. I'm gonna come by and visit you one day.
Hey, the door's always open. We've got a welcome sticker on the front door, and anybody's welcome to stop in there. You would not believe the people that stop through there just want to see or look at a car or see what we do. So it's really neat. We try to keep an open door policy there and make everybody feel welcome to stop in.
Well, I'm gonna do that one time, and hope to get by there real soon. All right, if you got time, thank you, sponsors, and we'll let you get back to what you're doing.
Well, guys, I appreciate you having me on tonight, and look forward to being back on. Hopefully you'll have me again. But I've been very fortunate. I got Danville Toyota supporting us this year, St. Lawrence Radiology, and all the guys that helped me on my car. We're all working late nights and trying to make it happen after hours, just like so many teams. But just very fortunate. The Lord's taking care of us. We got a couple wins under our belt this year, and we're looking forward to a good year.
All right. Well, I've got a question for you. Does Natalie Sather still race with your team?
I stay in touch with Natalie quite a bit. She actually is not racing. She's working for 3 Wide Life right now doing some TV stuff.
I thought so. I thought I'd seen her on there before.
Yep, she follows the World of Outlaws series and does all of the announcing for the World of Outlaws series now. So Natalie kind of got a little taste of the truck series, run a couple of races, and the funding just was not there. So she's now becoming a TV personality and doing a very good job at it. She's got a good knack for talking, and she's doing a good job with it.
All right, well, you gonna be coming up to Martinsville Sunday?
We're going to race on Saturday, and we'll see how it goes. I'd like to be up there on Sunday, but we're going to get through VIR. We've got a 12-hour race on Saturday, so I'm going to be pretty well shot.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. All right, well, if I see you up there, I'll give you a holler.
Absolutely. Look forward to it.
All right, man. Talk to you later. Appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
Well,
Cool beans.
yeah. I didn't know he had that many cars out of that shop.
Yeah.
And I've gone by that shop, I don't know how many times.
I thought he had a deal with Richard Childress for a little while.
He did. And that kind of faded out.
Did he run a few races for him?
Well, what he did was he went to the West Coast and run the West Series out of Bill McAnally's shop over there, but it was supported by Richard Childress. Childress sent him over there. And then he brought him back over here, and he ran a couple races for Childress in Childress's nationwide car.
Didn't he get in a feud with one of them or something?
Nah, I don't know about all that.
There was some.
He's gotten in.
There was some development driver. I can't remember who it was. They got into it, I think, with Kevin in one of the nationwide races or something like that. And then that was.
No, I don't think that was him.
Yeah, it wouldn't strike me with him.
No, I don't think that was him.
But somebody did it
But he's.
a while back or a long time ago.
Y'all heard about Richard Petty's wife, Linda, right?
Right, yeah. Sorry to hear about that. And Darrell Walter's brother died.
Yeah.
I've seen that too. I didn't know he had.
Yeah, I didn't either.
He used to run go-karts.
Yeah, apparently I seen that everywhere to the go-kart world. I had no idea.
He's been here to Langley to run.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't know that till the other day. I was talking and
Well, you know, there was a guy that I said there ain't no way in the world he was related to them.
there's a guy named Derek Waltrip that used to come over here a lot too.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
But Bobby used to come up here. It's been a while since he's been here, but there was a guy named Derek Waltrip that came to Langley a lot and run go-karts.
Yeah, I had no idea they had a brother.
You went to buy stock in Goodyear this week?
Why?
Because they were blowing tires left and right.
Yeah, they were. Poor old Harvick, man, he had 2 of them.
Well, since we got a minute, let's talk arena racing.
Okay.
Let's talk arena racing. Give us an update on how you did this weekend.
Well, we did good on Friday. We were running third with like 3 to go, and Little Testerman had a chain break and stopped in the middle of the corner. That was going to be like probably my best so far as running in the A main. I mean, those guys get after it, and I haven't run up there a whole lot. So I was going to be tickled to death to finish third, and we had a big lead at that point, and then a caution come out. We had a green-white checkered, and Cody was leading, and I tried to give Cody some room and race Scott, being those guys helped me. So and then Scott got by me, and then I was racing the 4 car, and going in the last corner, he pinched me up in the wall and bent the right front spindle, and the bolt dug into the rim. So it was kind of a gathering of like 4 or 5 cars, and we just sort of all slid across the start-finish line. So we finished 5th or 6th. Friday night was a little more eventful. I raced Scott pretty hard. I run him down in concrete.
Should be Mike Smith.
Welcome to Let's Talk Racing.
Hey, you got Mike Smith in Martinsville here.
How you doing, Mr. Smith? This is Jack Dodson. We've got Scott Allen and Roger here tonight. How's everything up your way?
Everything is just peachy keen. We're ready to go racing.
You got all the snow gone and everything?
That's what I was going to say.
Yep, we had a little snow yesterday to help keep the dust down the rest of the week.
Yeah, I've got some pictures from up there yesterday with the snow, and it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, there was a little bit of stuff.
It's all right. It's all gone now. We're ready.
All right, well, tell us about all you got going on this weekend. It's a big weekend with STP, the sponsorship, and everything they've got going on. So tell us what all you got going on with you.
Yeah, we got on Friday we've got 2 or 3 good practices with the Sprint Cup guys and the Nation Camping World Truck Series guys, and we'll break open that new qualifying the Cup Series late today on Friday, about 4:40, I think. That's going to be really interesting. It was fun to watch at Bristol. It's going to be even more fun to watch at Martinsville. I like the way they're doing the qualifying now, and I think fans are going to like it too.
I do too. I really do like it myself, and I'm just trying to figure out how good, how it's going to work at Martinsville with that long pit road they got there and everything. It's going to be really interesting to see how they handle that.
Well, I think what they're going to have to do, because we've got the trucks in there too, I think they're going to park stage the cars in front of the garage stalls.
Oh, is that what they're going to do? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I can't, at Bristol, they don't, the way they're set up there, they don't have a garage area taking up space, so they had, room to put nationwide cars and war wagons and stuff, and the way we're set up, there just isn't enough space, so they've come up with a pretty effective way to to do it right there in the garage stalls, and then they'll come out and get on pit road and go have at it.
Well, good. That's going to be interesting to watch. I love watching it myself. So.
I talked to Kurt Busch and a couple guys earlier this week about it, and they think you're going to see more than, Bristol, you had guys like Denny Hamburger in one lap, and that was pretty much it. He thinks you're going to, because the way the racing surface is here, you can see everybody run 3 or 4 laps every time they go out.
Well, that's even more interesting, because they'll have to make more room for everybody to get out there to do it.
Mm-hmm. It's too much fun, we think, and the Truck Series guys will do the same sort of qualifying on Saturday morning. They really haven't done this yet. They're supposed to do it at Daytona. They got rained on, and they haven't raced since Daytona, so it's be the first time for them to try this kind of qualifying.
So what all does STP have in store for special things going on at Martinsville this weekend?
They had some big stuff going on, and with Linda Petty passing away on yesterday, STP has sort of pulled back some of the things they had planned, just, out of respect for the Petty family. Richard and Dale Inman were supposed to be our grand marshals, and obviously Richard is not going to be able to make it to that now. Dale will do it, so they're going to, STP will be there, they'll be the sponsor, you'll know they're there, but it's not going to be a real big deal just out of deference to the Petty family.
Well, that's understandable. I can see that. So how does things look as far as weather and attendance for this weekend?
Well, we've had a good run up to the race. Pleased with the way things are. The race has been really exciting. We've had 5 different winners, and that's got they've got fans are buzzing, and the ticket sales are good. There's a chance of rain Friday and Saturday, but until we get there, you don't know. With the weathermen haven't done a real good job lately on predicting snow. So all we can do is look at the schedule and be ready to go when the time comes.
Well, that'll be good. Now the big question I've got for you: are we going to have Martinsville hot dogs in the media center this year?
We will have them on Friday in the media center. We always do on Friday.
All right, good, because I love that. I can't wait to get there for that.
There is a race going on there.
Yeah, I know there's a race going on, but I like it. I like that Martinsville hot dogs there.
What gets me is I don't know why somebody hasn't built more Martinsvilles or Bristols, because that just brings us back to the old time racing, the tight racing. I don't know why people want to build like a Charlotte or these 2.5 mile races.
Well, it's been a while since anybody built a racetrack. It's going to be a while before anybody builds one again. It's when everything was going great guns, everybody thought big racetracks were the answer, and boy, to take it bold.
Well, you got to be one of the luckiest guys around, because you're going to be there at Martinsville, and all the history that comes with Martinsville, you're a part of that, and keeping it alive and everything that's going there.
Well, I feel real honored and humbled by what I get to do every day. Sometimes we sort of take it for granted until something happens. Like the other day, I had a man call me. His dad had just died, and wanted to know if they could spread his ashes at the racetrack. That's a humbling thing when somebody thinks that much about where you work, that they would like for it to be their final resting place.
That is kind of neat. That does make you think.
Yeah, how lucky we are. I had a question and it just went right out my head.
Okay,
I just lost it.
That's normal.
From being upside down too many times, right?
Right. Well, I was close this weekend.
So, and how much do you get involved with Clay and his racing?
Well, we try to keep it separate because it really isn't the racetrack. But as a good friend of his, I'm obviously involved, and because we know every time they interview Clay Campbell, they're gonna mention Martinsville Speedway, and you know he had a great run down at Daytona, finished third. He's getting ready to go back to Talladega in a couple months, and we expect you to have another good run there.
Well, who's taking care of his cars? Is it still Stacy?
Oh no, he's driving with Ken Schrader this year.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a pretty good operation.
Yeah, he's got some good backing there.
He does a little bit of racing every year.
So, have you made any new things going on as far as the track is concerned there at Martinsville this year?
No, well, you know, we don't do much over the winter months just because it's winter and you get thrown behind. And, you know, we normally, between the spring race and the fall race, anything new, that's when we put it up. And, you know, even though we haven't announced anything yet, we've got some things on the drawing board we'll be announcing before long.
Very good. All right.
Yeah, I know. I love the Champions Overlook. I don't know if many people know about it. My aunt and uncle have a spot back there, and we watched the racing back there. I mean, it's a great experience watching the racing back there.
Yeah, that's one of the premier RV locations in all racing, where you can actually set the RV and actually sit right above the racetrack. The car sort of right underneath us.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Helton's usually a couple doors down. I think Clint Boyer was on the other side.
Oh, we're gonna have fun. You know we always do.
Oh well, he's got to throw his names out here like that.
Well, that's pretty neat that the average person can go there and watch the race and rub elbows with those guys, and they're just normal people, just like you and I.
Well,
They don't let me go back there, so I would know.
They are strict on who they let in the fence and who not to.
all right, well, we're going to let you go, get back to whatever you were doing, and we're going to talk with you again. We'll see you this weekend.
All right, guys, y'all take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Okay, take care.
You know, I should have left him on and conferenced him because Martinsville owes Tiger a grandfather clock.
Oh,
Ask him about it. Go ahead.
We should call Mike back up. Well, I don't know, that might start.
It's expensive.
Welcome to Let's Talk Racing, Tiger Tom Pistone. How you doing?
Well, I hope I don't disappoint you tonight, but you know, I'm trying to get there, but I'm almost there, though.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, we're willing to talk and talk racing with you tonight.
Okay.
All right, we just had Mike Smith on from Martinsville Speedway, and we understand they still owe you a clock.
My daughter Chrissy's been hawking them for it. I wish they would give me one.
I just thought of it, Tiger, after Mike hung up. I said, oh man, I should have left him on there and conferenced you in, and you could have said, okay, Mike, where is my clock?
That's one of my favorite tracks, Martinsville, Virginia. I can't understand it. I always do good there every time I go there.
So what are you up to these days with the race? Anything with the racing? You doing anything with it now, or what?
Well, I'm trying to get my head back, and I went to work today, start cleaning the garage out. I'm starting making room for my late model truck. I got a super truck and I got a late model, and I'm gonna start getting that together and go and do a little NASCAR racing. I'm gonna do.
Are you still working around with David Reagan or helping David Reagan with some of his stuff, or?
Well, David Reagan's #1 with me. You know that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Anytime he wants something, I'm always there for him. And I think he's gonna run that. I think we're gonna have another $1 million race again with the legend cars.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna be ready for that one too.
So do you still mess with the Legends cars a lot, or?
Yeah, I did. I was working with the Weatherman, and his brother got a deal with Jack Roush. He got in a diversity program.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Weatherman.
Yeah.
So I was happy for that. Now I've been working with Clayton. And now I'm trying to get ready. Like I say, I'm gonna do a little NASCAR racing.
So tell us a little bit where you got started in racing, a little bit to give us a little background about your racing, and so people out there will know a little bit more about you.
Well, we started racing, back in Chicago, at Soldier Field in 1949, and Andy Granatelli was the promoter of Soldier Field. And I won 3 championships in a row, and then in '56, Soldier Field won NASCAR, and Andy Granatelli promoted me to NASCAR. So at the end of '55, I came down south and started running NASCAR, which I was happy I did. And then from there, I ran the convertible circuit, and I ran the Cup races. I did pretty good with the Cup. We won 2 Grand National races, and we won 2 convertible races. And actually in '59, I had the Rookie of the Year, but I don't know why I didn't get it. I finished 6th in points that year and won 2 Grand National races, and it just didn't happen. But I got hooked up with Bill France Sr. when I first came down there, and Bill France Sr. has taken care of me ever since. And I wouldn't have what I got today if it wasn't for Bill France Sr. The NASCAR family's always been good to me.
Yeah, it is like a family for everybody. But then they want to get out there. They'll be willing to beat each other up after it's over with, though, won't they?
Oh yeah, just like it was a good race in California. That's the way it should be. And Robert Pennington, he's doing a great job, Robin. He understands racing, so they got the best man there working.
Well, all in all, with the things that's going on in NASCAR right now, with all the changes and stuff, and you've been around, you've seen it all, come through all the way through. Tell us what your opinion is of the new things that's going on right now in NASCAR as far as the qualifying and everything that you've seen the changes the last couple of years.
Well, they got to do something. And like I said, Robert Pennington, he knows what he's doing. And you got to change the format, because it was getting boring. You know that. Yeah. And European qualifying's always been good. I thought maybe they would do that, but I guess they're not going to do it that way. Put 4 or 5 cars on a track at one time and then qualify. Get transponders on. Like they got right now. But the format's good. The way they're going, it's going real good. And Earnhardt said the right thing. The track was a little bumpy, and he thinks that was a cause. But Jeff Hammond said the right way. Air pressure. Yeah. They were running too low air pressure, and the sidewalls gave out. You can see all that on there. Mm-hmm. They tried to blame Goodyear, but that was a no-no. There was nothing wrong with the tire. They did a heck of a race there in California. It was a great race, I think. And that Kyle Larson that's coming up, what a kid. Yeah. And him and Kyle Busch, they're 2 hard-to-beat guys. It's going to be hard to beat those guys. The only way you're going to beat those guys with a stick. You're not going to beat them on a racetrack. And,
Well, how much do you keep up with the racing now? Do you watch it every week? Do you keep up with everything that's going on?
Oh, yeah. I keep up with it quite a bit. Yeah, because like I said, I'm going to get my roots back into it, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm concentrating on right now, is getting back with NASCAR. And coming up this Friday, I would have been married 70 years coming up this Friday. It's my wife's anniversary.
Well,
so it's a little rough on me right now.
I'm sure it is. And we wish you the best. Hope everything, you get everything together, and we can't wait to see you back out at the racetracks.
Well, I'm trying. I hope I didn't let you guys down tonight.
No, we're not even done with you yet. Come on now.
Yeah, well, it's hard. It's real hard. But I'm getting there. It's going to take a little time. I got a lot of good friends, good people.
Yeah, I understand you got a lot of good back support there for you with everything you're having to deal with. Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about your shop down in North Carolina that you have?
Well, Bill Frank Sr. is the one who put me in business in 1968, is when we first started. And because when I quit driving in 68, there was no more money. We couldn't make no money, and it was hard to feed 8 kids. So Bill Frank Sr. says, let's put you in the parts business and building cars. So that's what we did. We found some land here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Bill Francine found it for me, and we built a shop and we started building cars, and we had trucks and we had trailers. We went to all the races. We serviced the races, and we done real good, very well. We done, you know, and I don't regret nothing that I've done. And we finally built the first Nova in NASCAR, and Bobby Isaac was the first one to have one, and Harry Gant was the second one. And Harry Gant won over 200 races in that car. And Harry Gant's been a real big supporter of mine. And so was Bobby. We had a lot of good guys driving for me. You know, Jim Herbies, Tiny Lund. Tiny Lund was about the best guy that I worked with. You know, he was a lot of fun to work with. And plus, he was my protection because he was so big.
Yeah, we're looking at a picture right now that has him holding you up in the air.
Yeah, him and Larry Frank. Larry Frank was the Indian. And I hung around with Larry Frank, and I hung around with Tiny. And I used to create the fight to let them guys finish it. And I have to tell you a story about Larry Frank.
Go ahead.
At Darlington, South Carolina, Larry Frank was racing, and Joe Weatherly spun Larry out. And Larry was waiting for Joe after the race. So finally, when Joe came in, Joe jumped out of his car. This is the honest of God's truth. He jumped out of his car and he ran the parking lot, and he was running from rooftop to rooftop on these cars in the parking lot.
Oh, jeez.
And Larry was chasing him, and he didn't catch him. So the next day, he was smart. He was a comedian for NASCAR. He was a go guy. He come up to Larry Frank and he says, "Hey, Pop, you couldn't catch me, could you?" And he knew he had to get Larry Frank laughing because Larry Frank, you know, he's an Indian, and that guy could kill you with one hand. And Joe Weatherly, him and Larry Frank become great friends. They became.
Now you were there with a lot of these guys back in the beginning of NASCAR. You got any stories? Now I'm almost afraid to tell you this, but I'm kin to Curtis Turner. You got any good Curtis Turner stories?
Oh, Curtis Turner, those great stories.
Oh boy, lay it on us. Come on down.
See, him and Joe Weatherly, they had a twin Apache airplane. They had twin engines. And I used to fly with Curtis. And Curtis would let you fall asleep, you know, while he's flying. Then all of a sudden he would put the car on nosedive, and then he put the car going straight up. He was good for doing things like that. And then one time I was looking out the window, and he shut the motor off. And I told Curtis, the motor's gone, you know. So next thing you knew, he was flying the plane upside down. He was flying the airplane. These guys, I don't know how they got away with it, him and Joe Weatherly, but they used to play tag in the air. They used to play.
Oh boy.
I'll tell you, great guys. Curtis Turner used to fly to all the races, and we used to land on the backstretch on these racetracks. See, back in them days, you could do that.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And Curtis Turner told me one time, he says, "Tom, look all the checks I got left in this checkbook." He says, "How could I be broke?"
Well, I can write you a check now. Come on.
He was that same excuse. He said, "Hey, Dad, we're not broke. Look all the checks we got." That Curtis and Joe Weatherly. Joe Weatherly, when the race, we used to line the cars up, and Joe Weatherly, at that time, we used to have gas caps, not like they got today. We had screw-on gas caps. Mm-hmm. And he stole all the gas caps on the cars. And then the next race, we had ignition switches. He stole all the keys. He stole them.
Oh, jeez.
So was he the biggest prankster in the garage at the time?
There's nobody could get mad at Joe. Nobody. He was the greatest. And he was a good driver, too, the best.
Yeah.
When I first came down here, I'll tell you this story. I went to Winston-Salem, and I stopped at this gas station when I first came down, and I was asking for directions, and I stopped at this Golden Esso station there, Winston-Salem, and I didn't know at the time that was Alvin Hawkins and Bill France Sr.'s gas station. They owned it together. And I seen this big guy come out of the gas station, and he come out and he said, "Hey, son, where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Martinsville, Virginia." And he says, "That race ran last week." So I was a week late when I got here.
Now, you could have been worried if they had told you that just to make you think it had already run so you wouldn't be there.
No, I'll tell you how Scott showed. So then, Bill France Sr., he let me use his garage. So then I asked everybody, I says, I think the next race was North Wilkesboro. And I asked me, who is the best, driver? Because at the time I didn't know anybody when I first came down there. That's how dumb I was. And they all said, follow Curtis Turner and follow Joe Weatherly. So I got to North Wilkesboro. I was following these guys in practice. And I was going in a corner, and I kept saying to myself, when are they going to back off? You know what I mean? They kept going deep and deep and deep and deep. And I followed them like a dummy. I followed them. Next thing you know, I was on my roof.
Really?
Down on my roof. And I was okay until one of the officials come over and said, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah." Then he grabs a safety belt while I'm laying upside down. I almost broke my neck.
Oh, jeez.
So I found out right then and there who was the greatest race drivers in the world was Joe Weatherly and Curtis Turner. And Ty Lunn taught me a lot on dirt. He taught me a lot. I have to hand it to him.
So what initially brung you? What made you decide to come south and go NASCAR racing?
Well, like I told you, see, in 1955, the end of '55, NASCAR took over Soldier Field. Mm-hmm. It was a NASCAR sanctioned race. So Andy Granatelli told me that you won 3 championships in a row. He said, "We want you out of here." So he graduated me, and that's when I came down, which I'm glad. The end of '55, I came down, to race down south. And that's how I got my NASCAR start.
Huh. So who was the toughest guy you raced against?
The toughest? Oh.
Yeah, like who did you dread having to try to pass that was like really hard to pass?
Well, they were all bad, every one of them.
So, well, who was nice to you then?
Yeah.
He put you on the wall. Junior, I idolized him. Junior he was tough. And Joe Weatherly was, Curtis Turner, they all were. Paul Goldsmith. There was a bunch of good drivers in them days. Fireball Roberts, you name them. See, back in them days, we didn't have no interrunners like they got today, And when we blew a tire, we demolished the car, There was nothing left of your car back in them days because we had no interrunners in them. So it was pretty rough. Jack Smith, I forgot about him. He was good. Cotton Owens, the small time that he raced he was good. See, I was a Yankee when I come down. I didn't know what they meant when they kept calling me a Yankee. See, like a dummy, I didn't when I went to school. I didn't pick up my history. I threw the books out the window because I don't like history, and I should have took my history. I should have took it, and then I would have known what was going on. Because I came down here, and believe me, I did not know that they have a civil war. I didn't even know what they were talking about. These guys come up with me, they say, "Hey, you Yankee?" And I asked Bill France Jr., "What should I do with it, Bill?" Bill says, "Tom, paint a rebel flag on your car." Honest to God truth. He says, "Paint a rebel flag on your car, put a light bulb on there, and put down, 'I see the light.'" And then these guys would come up to me and they start calling me Yankee. I say, "Hey, I'm not a Yankee, I'm a Southern Wop." And I more or less joined them. I don't know if you remember, Roger, back in the 50s and 60s, you couldn't even walk in the infield if you were a Yankee. They'd kill you.
Yeah, that's right.
They were pretty bad down here, and I mean real bad. Jim Reed was from Peaceville, Kentucky. New York, and he won the Darlington race. I don't know if you guys remember this or not. He won the Darlington race, the Southern 500, and the Goodyear blimp had down Yankee wins Southern 500, not Jim Reed. Because the Goodyear blimp. That's how bad.
I'm sure everybody knew who the Yankee was.
Oh, no, I joined him. I got in a clique real quick. You know what I mean?
Now, when you...
They still call me Yankee. I've been here since 1955, and they still call me Yankee. Can you believe that?
I tell you, that's bad. You live
That's
down
a damn
south
Yankee.
and they tag you with that, I tell you.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I got a lot of good friends down south there. I wouldn't give them up for nobody.
Now, who are you the most proudest of that you've helped in their racing career?
Oh, man, where do you want to start?
Hey, it's your nickel, you go for it.
For a guy in his first ride with Rick Hendricks, I helped quite a few guys. I helped Jim Hurtubise. I helped, oh, Christ. It's hard to believe. Harry Gann, I got his first ride with Lace Hill Farms. I got Harry Gann his ride. I helped Brett the Dye get a ride with the Salisbury Ham Company. I worked with so many drivers, Bobby Isaac, Harry Gann. There's so many guys it's too hard to name them all. And then in the legend cars, you know, I've been working with these young kids, and that's been good for me. That's been real good with the Banderolos and the legend cars. I never thought I would have so much desire to work with these young kids. And I looked at these kids till today, and I said, how do they drive that car? The kid's only about 3 feet tall. And I can't figure it out, you know. We didn't start racing until we were 21 back in our day. You couldn't. And today, he's got these kids 8 years old. They run these Banderolos, and 12 years old run the legend cars. And it's just phenomenal. Yeah. I worked with Logano, I worked with Reagan, I worked with a whole bunch of guys in the legend cars. My grandson, Tommy, Mickey, there was quite a few.
So how's things going for Tommy? I know for a while back there you were trying to get him a Camping World truck ride.
Well, we're still working on that. You know, I'm working on my shop right now. I'm getting it cleaned out, like I told you. And I'm working on that right now, you know, trying to get back to NASCAR. And because I got to do something now, you know, and keep my head going. And that's like I told you, that's my next desire. The legend cars, there's too much competition. You know, everybody's a mechanic. They're all crew chiefs, everyone. You know, there's so many guys out there working on these legend cars. It's pathetic, you know. And it's too hard, to get people to take in and work on. Like I had this kid, Hunter Richards, real good kid. I mean, he was real good. I had T.J. Michaels. I had Marcus Smith's son, Bruce Smith's grandson. I had Mike Joy's kid for 2 years. You know, believe it, I had a lot of fun with these guys. And Tim Robinson's kid, Travis Robinson, with the Bandoleros. And then we have this guy, Mark Cross, from Pennsylvania, coming down next week. I think I'm going to work on his Bandolero and help him. And I got this Ernie Krause right now from Virginia. I'm going to Concord with him. After the last 2-3 races, I've been working with him in a legend car. You know, it's rough, believe me. It's rough, but I'm trying to get my head together, like I said.
Well, have you ever heard of the series called the Arena Cars?
Who?
Arena Cars.
The Arena Cars? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. In fact, Andy, the number 66 car, Andy Lawler, he left the field for us Saturday night with the Arena car. Yeah, that's a good little car.
Yeah, we have a series like that. In fact, Scott Allen, who's in here with us, he drives them up in Richmond, Virginia, inside the Richmond Coliseum.
Right. They only had about 6 arena cars this weekend. I can't understand where they all went. But those little cars, you run flat out all the way around on that little 5th mile at Concord.
Oh yeah. We ran down there year before last. That's a tough little place because the 3 and 4 is banked, and then 1 and 2 is flat.
Right.
For those.
You need to get hooked up with Scott there, Tiger. Get him straightened out. Get his car up front.
I need all the help I can get.
Yeah, are you going to be here this Friday, Saturday?
Do what?
Are you going to be here Saturday?
Oh, no. We may try to come down sometime during the summer. We've ran 1 or 2 races down there. It's fun. We're up here in Virginia Beach, so it's a little bit of a ride to come down there for one night. Now, did you enjoy the to trying to make the cars faster through your career? I mean, was that like your strong suit? Because I remember like watching those guys that had the show, and you were on the show where you made that spindle and made it longer so that the A-arm, you basically changed the roll center in the car?
Yeah, to gain camber, because see, back in them days, the chassis height was 8 inches. Today the chassis heights are 5 inches.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go in the corner, back in them days, the top of the tire would go out. So it wouldn't gain camber, you lose camber.
I see.
So I lengthened the top of the spindle. We did that back in 1949, and then I brought to NASCAR, and I introduced the screw jack to NASCAR, and the camber spindles I introduced.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so nobody wants to give me credit for our screw jacks.
Nobody wants to give anybody credit for nothing.
How about just the proceeds portion of it?
When I first came down, these guys couldn't believe when they saw my car. And Johnny Bruder, the NASCAR official, he says, if I could find one thing legal in this car, Tom, I'm going to pass it.
Did you get it passed?
No.
Oh.
I finished fifth at Hickory, and he disqualified me. He says, where did you get that 583 gear? He says, where did you get this? Where did you get that? I was just about a couple of years ahead of him when I came down.
Oh, God. Now, you were talking about where you were on your roof the other time when you went going deep in the corner. Have you had other embarrassing moments while you were racing?
An embarrassing moment?
Yeah. I mean, granted, being on your roof is a little bit.
Well,
Right, Scott?
the embarrassing moment is when you go in your car and you grab your helmet and it's full of water.
Who did that to you?
How you run?
I thought so.
How you run at Macon, Georgia, he handcuffed me to the fence
Oh, Jesus.
before the race started. And it's a good thing that the guy on the stage had the key for the cuffs. The guy uncuffed me, and I ran to my car, and I grabbed my helmet, and it was full of water. I was filling up with water.
That had to be so much fun to race in those days. But it was more, I don't say laid back, but it was more kidding around. There was a lot of joking going on, where now it's just so serious today.
Well, it's you got these sponsors. That's what it is. It's all what you call. You got to do it. You got to do it. You see, and if you don't do it, what do you call it? The sponsorship?
Oh, Sprint Cup?
What do you call it? No, I think I know. What do you got to do for all these sponsors?
Oh, making appearances and all that stuff?
Yeah, right. You got to make appearances and everything. See, it's too much politics today. It's all business. And these drivers are driving their hearts out. Take my word for it.
Now, this weekend at Martinsville, there's going to be a Pistone in the race this weekend at Martinsville.
Well, shame on him. Shame on him. I'm not going to help him.
Oh, okay.
Okay. My grandson went in business against me. Did that tell you anything?
Oh, okay. I didn't even mean to bring that up.
You're in trouble now, Jack.
Good driver, though. He's a good driver. Greed got him. Greed got him.
Oh, okay.
Well, he comes from a good lineage, so you can't help but have him be a good driver.
No, he's good. He's a good driver. He'll do good. He don't need me.
All right.
Now, if you don't make it, then he'll wish he had me.
Did you ever get back at Tiny Eddie with all the tricks he was doing to you?
Oh, no. There's no way you get back at him. You know that.
Well, I mean, have him fall asleep, tie his shoes together. I mean, hey.
See, Tiny Run at Macon, Georgia, they used to have 2 100-lap races. So the first 100-lap race, Tiny led the race, and I kept body slamming him, because he kept chopping. He was good for that, chopping you. So they had a caution flag about the middle of the race, and they then flagged the race because it was a big wreck on straightaway. And I was sitting in my car. All of a sudden, I hear click, 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 click. Tiny unbuckled my belt, had me upside down, shaking me. He said, "You little diggle, you hit me one more time." I said, I'm gonna put you out." So next race, I won it. He won the first 100, and I won the second 100. So, now, Tiny was good. His best excuse was no brakes.
Okay. Use you for the brakes.
Oh, yeah, that was his biggest excuse. That was his excuse. You know,
I have to remember that.
Yeah.
You got to catch them first.
I'm getting that.
that was his excuse.
Oh.
You know, then Tiny at Dodson, Maryland, you know, he didn't show up for the race, so Lyle Stelter owned the car at Knoxville, and I was up there without a ride, so Lyle puts me in his car. Now, can you imagine me in his car?
How did you reach the pedals?
They borrowed all kinds of pillows that you could find, 2x4s.
Oh, geez.
We put 2x4s on a gas pedal and a brake pedal, and I barely reached the pedals. I did a second that race. I was pretty good. I was lucky.
If it could actually got you probably fitted in there, right, you probably would have won.
What? That's what I'm saying. Johnny run. No, great guy, great guy. It's a shame. We lost a lot of good guys. We lost a lot of good ones.
Well, the nice thing is, even though we're losing some of the guys from way back when, we've got lots of young blood coming up, and even as much politics as there is, there's still going to be the tiny young stories when they were first coming in and racing.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you're going to have Kyle Larson. I'm sure he has lots of nice stories when he first started getting into racing. You know, doing his dirt racing, whether it's out at the Nationals out there in Iowa or anywhere. You know, especially just getting into the nationwide car when he first got in there.
It's a shame, Rob. They should put a limit on the age of drivers and let the young guys come in. You know, I'm not telling that these guys should quit racing, but you know, some of these guys need to move over and let the young come in. They made enough money; they can retire. See, just like Mark Martin, he retired now. Okay, so now that leaves an opening for a young guy. You know, and some of these guys should, you know, realize that you've done enough. Now get out. Teddy, he moved out. You know, at 38 years old in our day, you were old, very old. You know what I mean? And I think 37, 38, when Ned Jarrett, Junior Johnson, myself, we all quit. We retired at that age.
Mm-hmm.
Today, these guys are running 60, 70 years old. They're still running. You know, but NASCAR should open it up to maybe 50 cars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, let these young kids get a chance to come in there. The way it is right now, the young kids are not going to have a chance. They're not going to have a chance.
Do you think sponsorship is going to have a problem with that? Trying to get enough money to be able to...
The story today, I don't care how good you are, how much you got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong. But I think Canassi gave Kyle a chance. I don't think Kyle brought his way in.
Yeah, I don't think he has any sponsorship money.
No. You need more guys like Canassi that would give these young kids a chance. And believe me, there's a bunch out there. I mean, a bunch. And the only way they're going to get in there is NASCAR would open the field of 50 cars. You know what I'm talking about? That's the only way you're going to get in there.
Yeah.
Because right now, there's no chance. No chance at all.
Yeah, and they want you to perform right away now, it seems like. You know, they don't want to wait around like when you were coming along or some other guys. Or Ricky Rudd is like an instance, you know. You were able to get a ride and learn for a year or so before they really expected a lot out of you.
No, you can't get in. No way. Impossible. And today you got to have a lot of experience you got to have before you even let you in. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like Casey LaJoy. You know, there's so many guys out there that want to come in. You know, like Brandon Reynolds. There's a good driver. You know, Brandon.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's the next hot shoe to come in NASCAR. It's Brandon. You know, and Phil Parsons got his kid coming up. How are these kids going to get in? You tell me how.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I really thought Corey LaJoy would have some type of ride. I know he's signed with Petty, I think, but
no, they don't have money. You know that, but they're not going to give him a chance. They're not going to do it.
Yep.
You have to have money. And I hate to say it, Corey. You know, Corey can't find that kind of money. It's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's good.
Yeah. I think him and, like you said, Brandon.
Oh, Brandon's real good, very good. And there's a lot of other guys. I'm missing a lot of guys' names. I'm missing. You know, all these kids that's coming up today. They're all trying to get in, just like Greg Garland and a bunch of other ones. They're trying to get in. Ben Rhodes. There's so many guys. There's Garbo. There's a lot of guys on the list that want to come in there. You know, now Garbo will make it because his father's got the money. You know, to put him in there. So, you know, he'll get in because they got the money. But like I say, you ought to push it. NASCAR should have 50 cars, open the field up, and let these young kids come in there and give them a chance.
Well, how do you feel about the fact of the talks about not letting the Cup drivers drive the Nationwide Series? What do you think about that?
Well, Tanya and I, that's where we made our money. Because the promoters paid us appearance money. So Tanya and I, they talked about me and Tanya when we ran the Grand National race, for what do they call it back there? Sportsman race. And sportsman. You know, Jack Greenwell was the biggest crybaby of all of them. Every time he saw me and Tanya and Ralph Earnhardt, he hated us, you know. And he says, look, they're running 64 Fords, and the rule is a 63 Ford. See, I popped some, I made some taillights, 63 Ford taillights, and I popped it in the back of my car. I went to Columbia, South Carolina, I'll never forget that. And Ralph Earnhardt called the official and he says, look, that's a 64 Ford, that's not a 63 Ford. So in the race, Ralph knocked both those taillights off. He did it on purpose, he did it, Ralph. You know, and it was things like that there. You know, they cried then, they're not going to stop crying. You got to have the Cup guys in there. Because how are you going to get the people in the stands?
That's right, I agree.
You know, everybody's got to think like a promoter. I was a promoter. I promoted races too. Quit thinking like an individual. Think as a promoter. What are you going to do to fill the stands?
Right, yeah.
You got to get talent in there.
Exactly right. You're right. You're right on that.
Well, what I wouldn't pay them nothing. That's what I would do. You know what I mean? Don't pay them no purse at all. And let the Grand National and let the Nationwides get that money. Like if Kyle Busch wins first place, if the next sportsman guy, the next Nationwide guy, he gets the first place money. The first Nationwide guy. That's the way they should do it. Because those Winston Cup guys don't need the money. What are they going to do with it?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with it? Seriously, what are they going to do with the money? They couldn't spend what they got right now. They couldn't spend it. And I preach and preach and preach when I had my radio program that I was trying to get these guys to help the old guys that put this thing together. You know, help the families. Just like Jake Elder. He had no money. No money for burial. None whatsoever. He was broke. Absolutely broke. Dick May, Elmo Langley. I could go right down the list. You know, Bill Champion, Clyde Wynn. You know, all these guys are broke and they have no money. And I tried to get these Winston Cup guys to make a fund. And let's go take care of those families.
Yeah.
You know, even though they're not here, take care of the families. That helps us just like Sammy Hart. Look at him.
Yeah.
Money. You know, Kyle Busch helped them quite a bit, you know. And it was Alex Beam. He had a couple promotions for Sammy Hart at the museum up there. We're trying to promote some money. You know, just like Bobby Ellison. I don't care what anybody says. Bobby hasn't got the money. I think Bobby spent all his money.
I would agree. I would agree.
You know, and Bobby, he should get some money. You know, these guys, if they wanted to, they could raise $100 million. Take my word for it. They could do it overnight. And just like a guy Bobby and all these guys that looks like Elmo Langley's family, you know, give them $1 million. You know, help the families and they can do it. Instead of they got this rescue place, this place. Why don't they help the pioneers that put NASCAR where they're at today? I'm lucky. I'm fortunate. I don't need the help. But these other guys need the help. You know what I mean?
That's right. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. And NASCAR can do something. They've done really, really well.
Well, it's up to the pioneers. I mean, the guys that's running today. They can do it. If they want to. If they want to. You know what I mean? And I tried to do it on a radio track. You know, I tried to promote it, but it didn't work. You know, David Regulus helped me quite a bit, but it didn't work. And, you know, there's a lot of guys today, they're broke. They got no money. That's the pioneers family, you know? And the guy I really felt bad for was Elmo Langley. That's what I really felt. Look what he did for NASCAR.
Yeah.
You know, he was a pace car driver, and he done many things for NASCAR.
And and Sam R. I mean, he's having a hard time, and it would be really good for them to have some help.
That's what I don't understand. I can't figure it out. I don't care if those guys get mad at me or not. I think they ought to be ashamed of themselves. Especially, you know, Sammy Hart. That's a disgrace. Honest to God, that's a disgrace. They should be helping him.
I agree with that one.
Well, what are you gonna do? There's nothing you can do about it.
That's right. I wish we could find a way to do something about it.
Well, there can. You know, what really gets me, these guys can't spend the money they make. Did you read what they said? How much money Earnhardt makes and Jimmy Johnson and all those guys make a year?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I make that much, except it's minus a whole bunch of zeros.
Yeah, right.
$35 million, $40 million. What are they gonna do with that money?
Yeah, that's just 1 year.
Yeah.
Right, that's just 1 year. Think about it. That's just 1 year. You know, it's just a shame.
It would be, I tell you what, and this would be my theory, be able to bring it back to where you like to race and it wasn't for the money.
It can be done. Take my word for it. It can be done. Hoppy Wheeler is pushing it. And Hoppy Wheeler will tell you, for the last 20 years, I've been telling him what has to be done with NASCAR for the last 20 years. And he's the only one that listens to me. The only one. You know, I said back then 20 years ago, go to a crate motor. Go to a crate motor. I told him that 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Go back to stock bodies. You know, get rid of all this fancy stuff. You know, what happened is, you got all this fancy suspension. I says, get rid of the shock absorbers. Get rid of those shock dynos. Get rid of all the computers, I told him. Get rid of all that stuff. Then the little guy could come back racing. Number one, start off with the shocks. That would be the biggest thing of all, the shock absorbers. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. These short track guys are paying $5,000 for a set of shocks. And back in our day, we used to get shocks for nothing. They were steel Monroe shocks. Steel. They cost $38 a piece. And you could buy the same shock today for $60. And Bill Elliott ran over 200 miles an hour with that shock. What's wrong with that shock?
Not a thing.
Think about it. What's wrong with that shock?
Nothing.
Okay. Well, so why don't they do something about it and outlaw them darn things? That's the first thing to do. And then get the engines. Go to the crate motor. You know, you're talking $7,500 for a crate motor. Today the motor costs you $50, $60 grand. I ran 3 truck races with my grandson Tommy. I spent $275,000. 3 races. I couldn't go no more.
Wow.
See, I got 4 Craftsman trucks sitting in my garage, rotting in the way. You know, if my wife was alive today, she'd be slapping me in the face right now, because she don't like me talking like this. No, she doesn't, because, you know, she was a sweet, sweet lady, and she didn't want me talking like this, and she didn't. I had to keep quiet. But now I don't care. I really don't care now. You know, I'm going to say it like it is. You know, and with you guys' help, you know what I mean? Let's promote Sammy Hart and give him his money.
I agree with you. Let's put something together and see if we can work it out.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Let's work with Sammy Hart first. I'll tell you a guy that can do it, Kyle Busch. He'd be the guy to do it. He could raise $1 million like it was nothing. Like it was nothing.
Yeah. But
I mean,
any of those top tier guys could.
well, let's say the 43 drivers, if they all raise $1 million, it's $43 million.
Mm-hmm.
5 years.
Yeah. And they could do it.
You know what I mean? And then the NASCAR Hall of Fame, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. You know what I mean? Really should be ashamed of themselves. All them pioneers not in there.
Yeah.
See, my daughter told him, why don't you take the top 100 guys and put them in there? Just put them in.
Yeah, we've actually had that discussion with another friend of ours. It's on here sometimes. He works with Motor Week, and one of the things said, hey, put 50 or 100 guys in there, get it populated real quick, because there's a lot of people from back in the years that they need to be recognized. Period.
Right, put them in there. Look at Marshall T. Don't even talk about him. Marshall T. How about Paul Goldsmith? Everybody forget about him?
No, ain't nobody. I've never heard that name come up in the talks.
Paul Grossman, one of the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He drove for Smokey Unit on the beach. You know, he was tough. You know, there's a lot of those guys back then, you know. And even Elmo Langer, he should be in the Hall of Fame. All those guys should be in the Hall of Fame. You know, and that's another thing you should work on. Let them put 100 guys from the past in there. You know? And that's what should be done right now. And then I tried to explain to them that take all the parts from the beginning. When racing started,
Yeah.
like the first spindle, the first hub, the first wheel, the first seat, the first steering wheel, and put it in the Hall of Fame. And put it from the first year they started racing till today. I told them to make a shelf of each item, because if you go to the Hall of Fame, what do you see? Cars. Who wants to look at cars?
I want to see some of the mechanics behind it. I bet you'd have a lot of parts out there.
You want to see what makes them cars run. You know what I mean? I like to see the spindles from the first time, when they first run, in the 30s and the 40s. I sure like to see some of them, you know? And that's what Ray Everhand's doing right now. He's bringing America Car out, and he's bringing all that old stuff out. And, you know, and I never knew they had stuff like that back in the day when they were racing.
I'd like to see all the stuff they confiscated. Confiscated over the years.
I would take it. Yeah, Dick Beatty was the NASCAR official, and he had a garage full of all illegal parts that they confiscated. Now, they should take those parts, put it in the Hall of Fame, and let everybody see what made racing. You got me?
The innovation.
That's right.
Yeah, I would love to see that stuff. I think that would be the neatest thing.
Half of that garage is mine.
Well, tell us some of the stuff that you did then.
You know, they're all scared to talk. Take my word.
I know.
They're all scared to talk. You know what I mean? Finally, I think Walter starting to let a little things out. Like that, like the shot. That, what do you call that, steel shot?
Uh-huh.
And the water in the frame at Wilkesboro. They used to have pipe plugs, let the water out, 200-300 pounds on a backstretch.
Yep.
Let all that lead shot out on the backstretch. There was so much in the gas tanks, they held 28 gallons. 28 gallons, you understand me?
How'd they get away with it, though?
That was a long...
Back then we had a ring. We welded a ring, a 3-inch ring around the drain plug. And 3 inches of gas would stay in the gas tank. So when you drain it, there's about 5 gallons of space.
I got you. That's pretty good.
The NASCAR finally caught on one time, and Manuel Savarkis was the guinea pig at Richmond, Virginia.
We know Manuel.
Yeah. They took the drain plug out. You follow me?
Yeah.
They let the gas drain out. So now they took the car down the highway.
And threw-
So the oil could come out. and now you got caught.
See, I love stories like that. How they got away with something.
Everybody today, they talk about Smokey Unit and that Chevelle that he drove out of the garage area. When they put a gas tank, remember they put the fuel cell on the car?
Yeah.
And they drove the car home?
Yep. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
All right. He drove the car home. And everybody said, how do you drive the car home? Simple. There was no rule on the length of the gas line.
That's
He had
right.
a 50-foot gas line with a 1-inch hole in it. You know what I mean? There was no rule.
That's about a good 6 gallons.
The length of the gas line for years and years and years. I think in 90 is when they finally came out with the length of the hose, the fuel hose, the length. The guys used to wrap it in oil. They used to wrap it.
That's pretty good. That's a good one.
Take my word for it. You know, just like Fred Lorenzen at Daytona. That's why they made the race instead of 100-mile race. Remember that?
Yeah.
They went to 125, then they went to 150, right?
Right, yeah.
All right, see, Lorenzen had that 64-foot on the cowl on the driver's side. They made a gas tank out of it.
Oh, jeez.
You follow me?
Yeah.
There was an electric pump in there. And I understand why the people didn't see it. Jack Sullivan was a crew chief, and he had on the blackboard, turn pump off.
and nobody caught it.
And nobody caught it. Nobody. Somebody stole that car, you know.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they stole that car, and that's how they found out about the cow in it.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and then like Jim Rathman. Jim Rathman, when he drove NASCAR, and you said his seat was made of a whole gas tank. The seat was a gas tank. The seat.
So that would be kind of tough.
Yeah.
No, we didn't care. We didn't care. You know, and then they had the roll bars. They used to fill the roll bars with gas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now I've heard about that.
See, Carl Petty and Jeff Hammond, if they would really open their mouth, they could tell you stories. And just like Junior Johnson said on TV, there was nobody had what he had.
I believe that.
He was 100% right. That man was sharp. That man, as sharp as I heard that when I moved down south, he was sharp. He knew everything, you know. And he won a lot of races.
Yeah, he did that.
I still got the engine that we ran. I still got it in my shop right now. A small block, 394 cubic inch. And you're only allowed a 358. And I still got that engine in my 81 Pontiac that I brought off of Harry Gant and Billy Harvey. I still got that car. Junior Johnson built me.
Well, I'm gonna have to come down and check your shop out one day. You might be better than the Hall of Fame.
I would bet it'd be very fun to watch to see.
You ever thought about that, Tiger? Turning your shop, building a little extra section, and turning it into a museum?
No, not really. I was working with my kids, you know, with my grandkids. That was the biggest thrill of my work. You know, working with them, you know, winning races. That was a big thrill. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed when I was crew chief for Jim Herbies, Harry Gant, Tiny Lund. When I crew chief them guys, that was it, you know. And I tried to get Buzz McKinn and Winston to take all those parts and put them in the Hall of Fame, but they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen.
Yeah, no, I would love to see some of the old cars and some of the old parts that you have.
Right. See, everybody said Smokey Yunick cheated. He didn't cheat. See, there was no rule in the rule book what he did.
Right.
Just like nitrous oxide. He was the first one to run it. But there was no rule on it. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. There was the gray area, right?
There was gray area. You gotta ask Jeff Hammond. I'll tell you my last story. We're at Dover, Delaware, and Billy Standish is driving the car, and Carl Petty didn't qualify, and we made the race. So Jeff Hammond comes over and he says, Tom, Phoenix wants to rent your car. He says, we'll give you the Pearce. If we wreck it, we'll fix it, and we'll make the car brand new. Guess what?
Uh-oh.
We couldn't give it to him. Because we had nitrous oxide in our car. Our front cowl was completely filled with nitrous oxide.
Yeah, you didn't want to give that one away.
Right, yeah, you can't give your secrets away.
Well, it's over with now. It's over with now.
Yeah.
I could tell you more stories. I know every one of those guys that cheated because I helped them.
Oh, Jeff?
That's why half his parts are over in what's his name's garage.
Right.
I still got power, so I'm not worried.
I forget who it was. I remember the story. I can't remember who it was. When they were going to go to Daytona, they were going to run a Ford. Nobody else was going to be running a Ford, so they asked NASCAR for the templates. So when they showed up, they sent the templates down to him. He made his car fit the templates.
Exactly.
And then when they showed up, another Ford showed up, but the templates were too small because he had cut the templates to fit his illegal car. Who was that?
You're right. Junior Johnson and a couple other guys. What are you talking about?
I heard that story. I thought that was the coolest story, you know.
No. Well, the story was in '64. We had these '64 Fords, and they set up in the air so high they sat, you know. And I used to tell Elmo Langley and all them, you know, those rookies. I said, "Don't park next to me." The car's got 4 inches lower than theirs, and you can see it, you know.
That's right.
Like Junior Johnson built that banana car. You saw that, didn't you?
I heard about it, yeah.
Well, it's the same thing. Junior didn't want nobody parking next to him because then you could see the difference. Would you want to hear a story how that car, I destroyed that car? You want?
Yeah.
You want to hear a story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. At Winston-Salem, Junior Johnson had Curtis Turner driving his car at Bowman Gray.
Mm-hmm.
They had a Winston Cup race there. It was Grand National then. And I borrowed the motor off of Junior. Junior let me use the motor for that race. So I got the race late. And I had to start in the rear. And I didn't know that Bobby Ellison and Curtis Turner got into it at the beginning of the race. I didn't know that. I think Bobby spun Curtis out or Curtis spun Bobby. I forgot what was wrong with it. So they both came to the rear of the pack on the caution flag, and they were behind me. So they jumped me, you know, and I said, where are you guys going? You know, they jumped me, so what I did is I pushed Bobby into Curtis and spun him out. This is the truth now. This is the honest to God's truth, you know. And what happened, Bobby went across the infield and got Curtis. He went back and forth. I don't know if you guys remember this or not. They wiped those cars out at Bowman Gray. Finally, Curtis Turner on the back stretch, I'll never forget that, going in turn 3, the car died on him. That banana car died. Bobby Ellison was chugging along, and he drove over the roof of that car.
Good God.
This is at Bowman Gray now. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the honest to God truth. And Junior Johnson grabbed me after this. He said, "You little digger, he didn't want to kill you."
Oh, God.
Now that story has been held for a long time. Mm-hmm. But that's how the banana car got destroyed. You know, oh boy.
Yeah, I love it. I remember Harry Hyde said he used to have guys wear steel-toed boots, so when they pulled the car up for heights checks, it was high enough because they would roll the car up on top of the steel-toed boots.
Oh, there were so many. They had stones, they had rocks in the springs. There was so much stuff. They had pins. You know, Jeff Hammond could tell you a lot. Junior Johnson could tell you a lot. You know what I mean? There was so much. They had shocks with pins in them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the pin was sheer on you. Mm. You know, back then, NASCAR, all they cared about was a race. You know, they didn't look at all that stuff, you know. So that's why we all got away with a lot of that stuff. And then they hired
Gary
Nelson.
Yeah.
That's when the racing changed.
Yeah, that's because he half his parts were in there too, I think.
Well, look what he did to Felix Sabine the first race. He disqualified him.
Yeah.
And he was a crew chief for that car. That's what Felix wanted to bury him, don't you remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, see.
But didn't he make the rule book very simple though, with like a bunch of his
oh yeah.
The colors? There was either green or red, and it was either go or no go. There was no in between.
See, he covered all that fancy stuff like they got today. He made all that. He created all that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it ruined racing. You know, but racing got big. So they owe Gary Nelson a lot for what he did, but now they need to go back. You know, and get all that fancy stuff out of there. Get out of it. Like $20,000 for brakes. Come on, let's talk sense, will you?
Yeah. Here's a good question for you. Now, what would you think of, Tiger, if they took and said, okay, let's do away with the cubic inch rule and do like they used to do back in the day, and they just made them suckers as big as they could?
Mm.
Well, you see, we had a cubic inch rule. We still beat that.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I mean...
And we beat those restrictor rings. Those restrictor rings?
Mm-hmm.
You know, G.C. Spencer's the one that got me caught. You know, I had some restrictor rings that melted. You know, after the water temperature got to 140 degrees. See, I made these rings. It was in Texas when I made them. At their, what do you call that, their school? In Texas, what do you call that school they had in Texas out there?
Oh.
The school for kids, you know.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The college. See, we went in there.
The Aggies?
Mason, and we had this machinist make these rings for me. And it was made out of silverite. It was stuff that was made that they make molds, and that stuff would dissolve. You know, so you could keep using it. So we had this in our car, and G.C. Spencer got caught with it. You know, there's so many different things. The guys made sliders. They made everything. And just like the PGs, they had 7 cylinders legal, illegal, and 1 cylinder legal. They used to drill right into the port. They used to drill. Especially Chevrolet head, the Ford head was really easy to do it. And you put a set screw there, and you leak out so much air to get that 427 cubic inches. You know, we said 396 on the hood. It was not 396, it was 427. Turkey Dutton, he built that Chevelle for me, and actually we did our car. We had 427 in it, and we fixed the head where it leaked air out of it. See, 7s, you know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that was done. There's no end to what you can do. There's no end. Just like they caught was Pepsi with the ram housings.
Yeah.
There's no end. And then they caught those guys with the some bushings on the trailing arms. You know, there's no end. Yeah, I can keep going on and on and on. I can keep going on and on. I got nothing to lose. What have I got to lose? I got nothing to lose.
Well, Tiger, we appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.
And we're going to get you back on here. We're going to do this again.
Yeah, this was fun.
Thank you.
And hope we'll see you at the track real soon.
Thank you.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
I love those old cheating stories. I do. I love those.
But they all ideas.
Yeah.
We was down in Martinsville one time to listen to Junior Johnson's car. His car sounded totally different than the other cars. I mean, it had a whine to it. We said, gosh, there's something wrong with that car. But he outrun everybody down there with that car.
Yeah. He probably was the king of that.
Darryl Walter was driving about that.
We're going to have to try to get Jeff Hammond on one night.
I would love to get Jeff Hammond on here one night.
I don't think none of these guys are tight-lipped. I think they're going to take a lot of that stuff to the grave with them.
That's the reason why he don't care.
Yeah. Well, I think the political side of it. Well, you cheated always.
Well, you know, he technically, Jeff Hammond was still working for NASCAR, so you know.
They can't say.
They can't.
He can say stuff about back in the old days.
Yeah, well, he could, but
you know,
whether he will or not would be the next thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Daryl has said, well, that's because we went further because we had more gas than everybody else.
Yeah, and what he said about the hose, I knew about that because they had, you know, big hoses, as long as they could make them, and now NASCAR is tight on all that stuff now.
Yeah.
I love the little idea with a drain. That's pretty funny. So have it up higher, that way you still have 5 gallons of gas in the car.
I used to remember when Langley first started having the mini super trucks. One of the first ones out there, I had built one up, and we took the whole front end, painted everything black. So when they tried to look at it at night, they couldn't see much of anything.
You know, let's say, yeah, go ahead. I'll tell you something.
And used to cheat up the front end geometry and everything with them.
Yeah, there was actually this past weekend at a race. Somebody showed up with a flat black chassis, and an official come over. He said, "Might have to look at these chassis." I don't know whose chassis it was, and they were telling Cody or one of those guys. He said, "Every time I've ever seen a black chassis, they're doing something." I was like, "Really? I never thought about it." He's like, "It's hard to see."
Yeah, it is. It makes it real hard. We did a lot of tricky stuff with the springs and buckets.
I don't know who it was.
I had NASCAR take an engine from me one time. I spent a lot of money in that thing.
Is that right? You never got it back?
No, it took it.
What'd y'all do to it?
I had to give it to them before we could race. They wouldn't let us race anymore unless give them that engine.
Yeah, but you did something to it. Why'd they take it?
Well, it bore that pretty good.
You won't gonna go that far.
You weren't gonna say that.
Yeah, it was right on the edge of legal, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, way over the edge on legal.
I was determined I was going to take it on with me. I wasn't going to race no more. And Jeff got all upset because he wasn't going to race. And he said, let's give the engine. And I paid how much money I paid for that engine?
Well, what can we say? One of the other things, like when the first time, well not first time, but when traction control was coming out, they were using the fiber optic cables to do it. And told the NASCAR officials, all you got to do is go along the rails, take a box cutter, and just run around the outside edge. If they've got it, it's going to cut that little fiber. I mean, you don't have to spend those little fibers or fiber optic. Run around, cut it. It ain't going to work anymore. That's all you got to do.
Didn't Jeff Gordon get caught with that system? Or it was able to be hooked up one time? I think that's like the highest fine in NASCAR. Or it was. Ray
I don't remember.
Evernham, it was like in the right front spindle, if I'm not mistaken.
Ray Evernham done a whole lot of stuff.
Nowadays, it's remote controlled nowadays, wireless. Just gotta. I mean, they used to put it in the.
You get caught with that in NASCAR, they gonna fry you.
Yeah, we used to put them in the the coil boxes. The
MSD box.
Yeah, the MSD boxes. That was another place to just put them at. Cut them open.
No, see, I'm not that smart.
Stick around with us techie guys.
Obviously, huh?
Yeah.
Stick around with us techie guys. We'll get you straight.
But you did good this week. 13th is good.
13th. Yeah, for not finishing.
The 13th,
fifth or sixth on Friday.
13th is good.
And the lap before that, I was third.
13th is good in the top dog. I'm proud of you. A top 20. Oh, that's
You
right. They
got
did
to-
have a 13 car.
At least he got to the top dog race.
That's right.
That's right. That's all that matters. You got to be in the.
Yeah, well, I didn't run the top dog because we bent the front end all up after that.
Oh,
collision
whoops, in that
comes
case,
to
we'll
the-
take back everything good we said about you then.
Coming to that collision on the last corner there.
It wasn't your buddy Scott that did it to you either.
No, not that time.
He
that was
smelled them hamburgers cooking.
That was just racing. It was kind of funny because when we crossed the start-finish line, I crashed into the barriers and hit a car inside the barrier. And one of the guys afterwards says, "Hey, that last lap, did you let up the gas?" I said, "Not till I hit the barriers in that car. I seen the checker flag. I ain't finished many races this year. I didn't let off till I hit the barrier."
Oh, God. All right, let's get out of here.
All right, yeah.
We had a good time tonight, of course, as you can tell. And we'll catch everybody next week on Let's Talk Racing.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Robert Richardson Jr., driver of the number 23 Dodge Challenger for R3 Motorsports in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and you're watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Timothy Peters, driver of the number 17 Toyota in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Here's your 2011 champion, David Brehm.
Hi, this is David Quenz, driver of the 33 NASCAR Late Model, 2011 Old Dominion Speedway track champion. Thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing TV.
I'm Sam Hunt, driving the 42 car on the thing Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, my name is Natalie Sather. I drive the 94 K&N Lady Eagle safety wear, Butler built seats, bell helmets, hooker harness seat belts,